Good morning, I hope everyone's well today. Thank you for watching. If you find value in this video, consider liking and subscribing. It does help the channel out a lot. I have to be strategic in the way I phrase and word this video due to Tutik here and his definition of anti-Muslim hatred as it's been rephrased. So I need to be strategic because I could be thrown in prison. But I'm going to play a clip in a minute or so from Megyn Kelly. She's a really big American journalist and she says some things in the video that I think would resonate. I don't think many people would disagree with what she's saying or the crux of what she's saying. But if Tutik here gets his way, we probably won't be able to have this conversation without being accused of a hate crime. So I'm going to play the video now and then we're going to unpack a few things that she says after the video. So I'm going to play the video first of all.
Be honest, they're breeding like rabbits. That's like part of their mission, is to have kids, have tons of kids, have 6, 7, 8 kids, and win by multiplication. So Christians need to start having babies. Sorry, but we do. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm sorry, but no more Muslims. We're done. Our values are not aligned. They're just not. I have Muslim friends. It's nothing against them. Their individual, friendships are fine. They as individuals are fine. But Islam is not consistent with the values of America, of the West. They should stay in countries that don't care about keeping church and state separate.
Do you agree with that statement that, blanket-wise, Islam, the religion of peace, is incompatible with the West? Not that individual Muslims, as she says, can't be nice people, can't be integrated into wider society, can't be upstanding part of the community. All of this can be true, and yet what she's saying can also be true. Let me know in the comments.
They should stay in countries that don't care about protecting free speech. They should stay in countries that don't care about women's rights. That's where Islam can fester and grow. It's great. I mean, I'm sure if that's like your thing and you don't care about like genital mutilation, you might really enjoy living in an Islamic country. If you don't mind living in a life as a woman where you have to keep every inch of your body except for your eyeballs covered, yeah, someplace in the Middle East could be for you. It's not my thing. It's not America's thing. And it's not a thing that we should want or encourage in the West. And it's definitely not a thing we should encourage at our governmental level.
So that's the video, and I found it instructive and I found it sobering, which is why I thought I'd bring it to your attention. More and more people need to speak like this, speaking plain language, simple terms that everybody can get behind, or not get behind, so we can at least have the conversation and have the discussion and the debate. So I'm going to leave that clip here, and then I want to unpack a few things that she said in the video. So to put it into context regarding America's Islam issue and the United Kingdom's Islam issue, in the United Kingdom we've got about 4 million Muslims, 6% of the population, give or take. That's according to official figures. That's probably larger because there's lots of people that don't do the census. And if you look at the United States, a country that is over 50 times the size of Britain, they've got 4.5 million Muslims, so about 1.3% of their population. And their mainstream journalists are calling this out now. They're much further behind us on the Islam train, and they're much further behind us, generally speaking, with mass migration because they can absorb the mass migration at a slower rate than we can in the United Kingdom. However, I have a problem with this, and I'm going to play this now. This is an Islamist call to prayer that is piped out in megaphones all over Leicester on multiple occasions throughout the day. I have a problem with this. I have a big, big problem with this. This is an alien culture to the United Kingdom. It is not native to the United Kingdom. I did not vote for this. I did not consent to this. It's not. You could make the argument it's about culture, but I can make a democratic argument to say we never voted for this, we never wanted this because we never asked for it, it was never in anyone's manifesto. This bothers me because we are predominantly a Christian country at heart, like America. But then you get stories like this where our culture, our traditions, our religions are being subverted. For 150 years, the bells of a village church have chimed every quarter hour throughout the day and night. But now, St. John's Baptist Church in Wetheridge, Devon, will stop ringing because of the exception of one chime an hour during the day. There's an exemption, sorry. This results of one noise complaint. North Devon Council, who issued the noise abstinence notice, said it had decided the noise was likely to wake and disturb the sleep of the complainants. By the same token, does this not wake people up? Who asked for this alarm clock? This is a broader issue. Certain religions get kid gloves, and certain religions, the majority religion of the country, have to bow down to minorities. Minority rule over the majority, that's unacceptable. And then I'm going to point to the comment that she said about when they come over, in general, they breed like rabbits. This isn't specific to Muslims, but this is particularly people from third world countries. It could be Yemen, it could be Zambia, it could be Tanzania, it could be South Africa, it could be any country that's not in the West, it could be Iraq, it could be Afghan, it could be any of them, alright? This is the case in point. There was a huge boxer in the 90s, and he was a cocky little shit, pardon the language. He was called Prince Nazim Hamid. Hamid was born in 1974 in Sheffield, South Yorkshire, England, to Yemeni parents. Let's just read this. In a shop owned by his father. He grew up with 8 siblings. Case in point. Immigrants, they may have assimilated, they may not. I don't know about his particular situation. 8 fucking kids. This is what Megyn's saying when she says that the native populations of westernised countries are getting outbred by migrants. And it's an important issue, and it's something I've not really spoke about on the channel, that we are being outbred. Now, I'm quite cynical of government, and I'm quite cynical of government's intentions. I'm of the view that when we decommissioned empire in the late 1940s, and we changed our British Nationality Act to make sure that any former imperial possessions were allowed to become British if they came to the United Kingdom, I think it was done on purpose, but I don't think it was done on purpose for altruistic reasons. I think it was done because it was noticed in empire that third worlders, they don't have TVs, they don't have much other things to do to occupy themselves, and so they procreate, and they procreate, and they procreate, and they breed like rabbits. Add to that, when they come over, the living standards in the United Kingdom are much higher than they ever were in their native homelands. So when they come over, they don't necessarily mind that they can't own a house, as long as they've got a house, or, to use a rather crude phrase, they've at least got a pot to piss in. Whereas the native British population already rent, they already have a roof over their heads, and they already have a somewhat decent life. What they aspire to is the next level, which is property ownership, a stake in the community beyond their immediate family, and actually contribute in a meaningful way. This is what in my view, the average British person wants. The people that are being imported from the third world into Britain don't have that aspiration, they don't have that mindset, i.e. the state has to do less for them. So the demographic replacement or substitutes, I think it's being done for a very cynical reason. But back to the point, many people agree with me that the Islamic call to prayer shouldn't be blasted out on megaphone. In fact, I put a poll up on my channel about this a few days ago. I am really concerned about this anti-Muslim hatred rhetoric that they're talking about, because we couldn't even have a honest and open conversation in frank terms, like Megyn Kelly said in the video, in this country, no journalist would be able to do that because they'd be afraid they're going to be put in prison by two-tier gear. Free speech is under threat and under attack in the United Kingdom. It shouldn't be incitement. You shouldn't be able to incite violence. However, you should be able to have an honest debate about anything and everything. Everything should be on the table. You let me know. Do you agree with Megyn Kelly? Is Islam incompatible with Western culture in general? And do you agree with my very, very cynical point of view that the importation of third worlders to the United Kingdom is a deliberate policy choice for the specific reasons I've said? As always, your mileage may vary. Comment below, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. You have a good day, and thank you for watching as always.